Their Fated Travels. Chapter 13. Panic in the Streets. Extract from the Diary of Rysandria, Day 40.
The deed was done. Our mission was a success, but we began to grow suspicious in our journey back to the temple of the large amounts of watch running to and fro across the city. We quickly discovered that a number of mutants had come about due to the poisoned water. There were too many for me to save, and besides, I am not yet a priestess. Who listens to me, really?
Extract from the Diary of Tobias.
Stupid people of the stupid city, running rampant and causing widespread chaos all around.
Extract from the Diary of Rysandria.
Then we came upon a poor man who had been tied to a post. It was clear that something was wrong with the situation. A group of citizens were crowded around him, jeering and throwing insults. His house was being prepared for burning. Anarchy! Upon an even closer inspection, I could see he had a sign on his chest, a crudely painted-on warning that read, "Beast Man." Not even spelt correctly. Several of the city watch were nearby, but it turned out that they were not even who they said they were. As for the accused man, the horns on his head were tied on with string. I was having none of it. I pushed through the crowd. The others followed me. I began addressing them and discovered that they had cruelly labelled this man as a beast man. Even when we removed the fake horns, still they jeered and kept to their purpose.
Extract from the Diary of Maestro.
Quite frankly, I didn't want to get involved. I was more curious about our chances of faring against so large a crowd if things turned ugly. From looking at some of the faces present, I think it already had.
Extract from the Diary of Dieter. We later found out that the man being tied up was a moneylender. The crowd were simply borrowers who were trying to use the opportunity of the city being in a state of upheaval to get rid of him, and hence their debts. Not that I care about these people, not any of them, not the man who was tied up, nor the crowd, nor the group I even travel with. But something about this situation, the supreme stupidity of it, so alarmingly ignorant, foolish to try and get away with. I couldn't let it stand. I could have cut each and every one of them down where they stood for the act they were about to commit. I kept it simple. The time for words was over. We tried it the Shallians way, and that hadn't worked. I noticed the main speaker, the ringleader amongst them, was a dwarf. I told him to back down. He laughed at me, and the crowd laughed too. I grabbed the bastard by his beard and started to lift. I hate short people and idiot crowds. I have a new friend, I think. Extract from the Diary of Tordrad.
Somehow, Dieter's so strong when he wants to be. He picked up dwarf by beard, lifted him a little off ground. Impressive! Dieter shouted words at dwarf. Dwarf looked concerned suddenly. Crowd too. Got more than they bargained for with him. He started poking dwarf hard in face. Ends up kicking up the ass as city watch arrive. Crowd disperse before the pretend city watch could do anything about it.
Extract from the Diary of Rysandria.
Terrible. City Watch chased a little girl down an alleyway. Yes, she had a mutation, but of course it was curable. I tried to explain this to the watchmen. Tordred became very defensive of the girl, seeing that they had drawn their weapons and cornered her as they had. He drew his weapon and stood in their way. I've never seen the man do anything outside of his bodyguard duty. This had riled him.
Extract from the Diary of Tordrad.
She reminded me so of my little sister. I called her that. She was like sister to me, back in Kislev. Another I was forced to leave. She was the reason I leave.
Extract from the Diary of Rysandria.
I explained that while I am a Shallian devotee, I am unable to partake of serious violence. My Kislevite friend has no such restrictions. I pointed out that he was evidently taking the violent threat towards this girl seriously. I begged that they let us take her to the church for healing. Dieter was also strangely defensive of her. I saw his machete ready in hand. He was prepared to strike those men if need be. I've never seen this side of him either. We were then invited back to the watch headquarters to give a report. I again insisted that we take the girl to the church first. They seemed to accept this eventually, after much looking at one another. This, though, made me suspicious.
Extract from the Diary of Tobias.
On the way back to the Watch HQ, we saw Deputy High Priest Klaus Leibniz and a group of heavily armed Teuton guards step out in front of us. He asked us what was going on. Rysandria tried to answer, and one of the guards promptly struck her to the face. Tordrad went to move in for the attack, but the guards were upon him in moments. His strength was so great, he almost threw them off of him. Had Rysandria not shot him a look to appeal for calm, he might well have succeeded. The watchman told Deputy High Priest that we were suspects in a chaos scheme. Maestro tried to argue, pointing out that the group did indeed have permits to investigate the situation as they saw fit. A mission to protect the wells, as directed by the witch hunters. One of Leibniz's men pointed out that a group of witch hunters had indeed just been arrested. Leibniz told the men to stand down, that he would handle it from here. He satisfied the watchmen that they would be duly paid for their capture. Things were looking up. When we were escorted to the temple, at last it seemed like we could get the investigation moving again, and get out of this city. Alas, that was not to be. The bastards.
Tordrad's Diary.
They escorted us to jail area. Want to show us something there, he say. Witch hunter prisoner there. It is Matthias Hofer. Leibniz say something in smarmy voice. Voice sounds so different now. I not know what he say. Some words like, you outlived usefulness. Something like these words. Others get tense. This made me tense. I see fight soon. Leibniz leaves. He spoke through this closed door. Wizard became angry all of a sudden. Interesting to see him stand up for himself. Maybe he is true man yet. He says something with wagging finger, trying to look threatening. Finger and voice ruin effect. I can tell from guard. Guard grabs him. He speak mage tongue and touch guard's forehead. Guard fall asleep. I not be jailed for crime I did not commit. I make sure I even not be jailed for crime I do. So especially not be jailed for crime I do not. Leibniz is bad man. I cut down 2 more guards. More attack. We end up bringing down 6 guards. Some dead, some asleep. Then I see jailer and some guards still alive. We throw them in jail. Ironic outcome. Dieter notice rope on ground. Look on his face tells me this is not to be good for jailer. He eyeballing him. Dieter thread rope through cell bars around jailer's neck. He squeeze hard. Strange man. Up against bars from outside. Man's head look like maybe it become bigger, huh? Maybe not. Haha. I think this way though it funny. Jailer then still sleep. Dieter angry now. He give kick to jailer's spine. I hear satisfying crack. Remind me of when I prepare animal to eat. Ha! Jailer scream now. Must be awake. Dieter say a word to wizard. Word like interrogate. He tell them he not know much, I think. As Dieter got angry again. When I look back to jailer, he had extra pool of blood coming from him. He lying on the floor. Not know what happened. They make plan now. Take guard's clothes and put on. Take jailer key to escape. Release witch hunter man in cell.
From the Diary of Maestro.
Matthias Hofer was in a holding cell, and we released him too, but he was badly injured. He had managed to tell us that Bauer had been taken while searching for the poisoners of the wells. He had uncovered a cultist den within a tavern basement called the Sword and Flail.
Extract from the diary of Rosandria.
We arrived at the Temple of Sigmar only to find it practically under siege. They were getting ready to burn the man inside with cries of heretic. Religion is such a dangerous thing to perceive wrongly. I have been challenged about my beliefs before. Rather than getting into something heated like many do over this topic, I simply answer that if I am wrong in my belief, if what I believe in turns out to be incorrect, at least I have spent my time healing and doing good, unlike some others who have been on more morally ambiguous, righteous quests.
Tobias's diary.
Hoffer showed us a secret entrance into the temple. Bah! I could have found it myself.